It's a pleasant morning after a refreshing rain. Dr. Raghu, a scientist, and Maniram Chacha, a wise elder from the nearby village, have come to the school. Madam Sulekha, the science teacher, invites them to lead a nature walk, to explore the beauty and variety of living things around us. Students carry notebooks, pens, and water bottles. As they walk through the park, they notice grasses, bushes, tall trees, colorful butterflies, chirping birds, and jumping monkeys. Dr. Raghu smiles and says, every bird has its own unique trip, just like every plant and animal has its own special features. This variety of life around us is called diversity in nature. The students start noting their observations. And what do they see? They see some plants with soft green stems, others with hard brown ones. Some leaves are long and thin, some are broad and round. Flowers, they differ in color, shape, and smell. They also list animals: ants crawling in the soil, birds flying in the trees, cows gazing on grass, monkeys jumping branch to branch. Dr. Raghu, he asks, what differences do you see? Riya says, some animals live in water, some on land, and some on trees. Dr. Raghu nods. Exactly. Such variety is what makes life beautiful. This is biodiversity. Now, let's understand how and why we group living things. The teacher asks, you group your books by subjects, right? It helps you find them easily. Similarly, we group plants, animals based on their similarities and differences. Grouping makes it easier to study and understand living beings. Dr. Raghu takes them near different plants and explains. Plants like mango are tall with hard, thick trunk. These are trees. Rose plants are medium-sized with woody stems branching near the ground. These are shrubs. Tulsi and tomato are small with soft green stems. They are herbs. Some, like money plants, climb with support, called climbers. And some, like pumpkin, creep along the ground, called creepers. The students collect leaves, hibiscus, banana, and grass. Dr. Raghu shows them how thin lines, called veins, form patterns. If veins form net-like pattern, it is reticulate venation. If veins run parallel, it is parallel venation. Then they gently dig up plants. Some have one main root, cap root. Others have many thin roots, fibrous. He adds, usually plant with reticulate venation have cap roots, and those with parallel venation have fibrous roots. Let us now learn about seeds. The students soak chickpea and maize seeds. Dr. Raghu split them to show chickpea splits into two parts, dicots. Maize, one thin cotyledon called monocot. Maniram Chacha asks, how do different animals move? Students shout answers. Fish swim using fins. Birds fly with wings. Goats walk and jump with legs. And crawl. Dr. Raghu explains. Different body parts help them move differently. That's how we can group animals based on their movement. Madam Sulekha now shows pictures of various regions: deserts, mountains, oceans, forests. Each place has its own special plants and animals. She says, in deserts, cactus stores water. and camels have long legs and humps. On mountains, deodar trees are cone-shaped to let snow slide off. In oceans, fish have streamlined bodies to swim easily. In forests, lions, elephants, and monkeys find food and shelter. These special features that help them survive are called adaptations. Their natural home is called habitat. Dr. Raghu concludes, when humans cut forest or pollute water, animals lose homes. That's why India began Project Tiger, cheetah reintroduction, and protected sanctuaries. Our ancestors protected sacred forest patches called sacred groves, where no tree could be cut, no animal harmed, the true guardian of biodiversity. Now let's take a look at the learnings of this chapter. If you loved exploring nature with us, tell us your favorite part in the comments. And if you learned something new, like, share, and subscribe to Knowledge Rebound for more fun science stories. Thank you.